Hey everyone. Today I wanted to talk about something that comes up sometimes, especially around holidays and celebrations. FOMO, the fear of missing out. If you're new here, I'm Nadia. So, something that I've noticed that when I became sober, holidays and celebrations, parties felt different. So, when I first became sober, I realized pretty quickly that any type of celebration, cookouts, parties, holidays, Thanksgiving, etc., Christmas, felt different because for me, they no longer revolved around drinking. And honestly, when I first became sober, I was concerned that I was missing out. I remember one of the first holidays after I became sober, it was Thanksgiving, and I was at a friend's house, and music was loud, people were talking, and for a moment when I looked around, I felt uncomfortable and I felt awkward. I felt that familiar pull. And so at that point, I decided the best thing that I could do is separate myself. Not go home, but just get away from that situation that I was surrounding myself in. So I went out to the back where the host's little dogs were hanging out. And I just stood outside for a few minutes and took a few breaths of fresh air, looked around, and realized that I was going to be okay. I didn't need that drink. I didn't need that drink to feel like I belonged, to make myself more comfortable. Because even though drinking was always something that I did in those types of situations, and not drinking was going to take some time to get used to, it wasn't worth me breaking my sobriety just because I felt a little awkward. And in all honesty, no one else probably even noticed except me because I let it get to me. Stepping away from the situation and taking a few breaths of fresh air outside, hanging out with the dogs, made me realize that what I actually wanted was not a drink. What I wanted was to feel okay. I did not need alcohol. As the night went on and I calmed down a bit, because I believe a lot of it was anxiety driven, I began to realize that I can still have a real conversation. I can still hang out with people. Not everyone is drinking, and not everyone drank the way I did. So once I realized that and came to terms with it, my inner struggle, I realized that I could still have a good time and I did not need to drink. When I was ready, I drove home. I didn't have to worry about drinking and driving. I was clear-headed. I woke up and I felt fantastic. I was proud that I didn't drink, and I realized that I hadn't missed out on anything. I just experienced it differently. But what I learned is that I'm not really missing out on the drinking. I'm missing out on the idea of what drinking gave me. The fun, the connections, the looseness, and sometimes the escape. But what I noticed was that drinking never gave me peace, and it didn't make my life easier. It definitely didn't help me wake up feeling proud of myself the next day. So now when FOMO presents itself to me, I'll just try to pause and ask myself, what am I actually afraid of missing? Because most of the time, I'm not missing out on the chaos. I'm not missing out on the regret or the anxiety that I have the next morning. I'm not missing out on wondering what I said or how I acted or why I feel so awful. So now I handle holidays and I handle parties differently. I give myself permission to leave early if I need to, if I feel awkward. I do try to stick it out a little while. Make sure that I bring my own drinks, non-alcoholic, of course. I definitely want to drive myself. I don't want to rely on someone else because I don't want to take away from their time or their fun. But mostly what I do is I check in with myself to be sure that this is what I really want. And if I feel okay with it and I feel safe with going to these get-togethers, then I go. The thing that I've noticed a lot since I've quit drinking and when I'm at these gatherings is that people do tend to ask me, sometimes repetitively, why I've quit drinking or why I've decided to quit drinking. I try to make it as simple as I can, and I just tell them I just feel better without it. I don't need it anymore. And I really don't feel badly about that. I shouldn't have to be embarrassed about it. And I have noticed that other people that have quit drinking always feel like they have to justify to other people what made them decide to quit. And it's very personal. It's a very personal decision. So if it's something that you don't want to talk about or you don't want to explore with others, it's okay to change the subject. So now, if I feel like I need a break from the people that are drinking or getting too loud, I either go to the bathroom, maybe I go outside, I just change the spot that I'm in, take a deep breath, and realize that this will pass. This feeling of awkwardness or uncomfortableness will pass. And if it really is something that's difficult for me to handle or deal with, then I'll just go home early. And it's not that I'm being rude. It's that I'm protecting myself. Right now, protecting myself is the most important thing. Sobriety didn't take away my holidays or my celebrations or parties or get-togethers. It actually gave me a chance to enjoy them and to be present and to remember them. I don't have to worry about waking up the next morning not feeling well. I'm clear-headed and I'm safe. And that peace of mind is worth more than I can even explain. So if you're sober or sober curious, or even questioning your relationship with alcohol, and you are trying to get through a holiday or a celebration, don't give up. You're not missing out on anything. You're still the same person. Let me know if FOMO is one of the reasons from becoming sober. And if not, how do you deal with FOMO if you are sober? Just remember that when you're sober, you are making clear choices, and all of those choices are yours to make. And every time you choose yourself, you build a stronger, more steady life for yourself. You're choosing yourself over alcohol, and that's all that matters. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great 4th of July, and I would love to hear from you. Thanks.